Welcome back to Bat Fridays here on One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Detective Comics issue 81, The Cavalier of Crime. The introduction of a Batman villain called the Cavalier. I have no idea if he's going to show up again. I think he probably will be. He does seem to hope that he's going to be the next Joker, actually bigger than the Joker. But the fact that you've never heard of him, pretty good sign about how well he did in this issue. The Cavalier, as he calls himself, is a bit of a cross between Zorro and the Scarlet Pimpernel. He's like a dandy cavalier from like the 17 or 1800s. He's just kind of like a gentleman thief. I think he would call himself a gentleman thief, but there isn't a lot of like him being a gentleman exactly. There are moments of it, like him helping an old woman, and he's sort of nice, and he's very upper crust, stiff upper lip type of guy, looking down on people, thinks himself fancy. He's not particularly an interesting villain, and he doesn't do much. A lot of this comic sort of functions on the fact that he's doing very weird crimes, and not just like thematic to him being a cavalier. No, he steals a baseball to steal a miniature bat to eventually steal some collectibles. Weird stuff like that. Like, steals a baseball from a child. He offers him 3 good baseballs in return. And it's mostly just like, okay, is this building to something? Because it feels like it's building to something. Like, all these things will add up to, I don't know, a super weapon. But that's not what is happening. And you have to blame the story for this, because even when we find out what he's after, which is just a whole bunch of like sports collectibles, which I guess are somewhat valuable. And I reread the ending several times to see if there was some actual payoff to this climax, to this resolution to what he was after. All he says is when his henchmen are disappointed by the sports collectibles that he finds them valuable. So it's all just valuable to him, which you could say about everything he does in this comic. All of this has value to him. It just felt like how Batman and Robin were talking about it, like, why is he up to this? Maybe there's a nefarious reason that it was building up to something, and it wasn't building up to something. And probably wouldn't have much of a problem with it if it wasn't being talked about like it was building up to something. I think another problem with the story is Batman and Robin has a tendency to have pretty solid action sequences, but the first 2 action sequences are short and don't have a lot of like flashy fight moments in them. They're pretty quick actually for a Batman story until like the final one. And then there's some better moments of depicting action, which Batman has always been kind of strong in these Golden Age stories. But until then, it's just few and far between. And he's not doing enough to actually find him very interesting. Even the thing he's going to steal feels very low stakes. Just a bunch of sports memorabilia that like one dude cares about. I'm sure it's valuable, but it's not valuable in the sense that he's going to make a lot of money from it. And thematically, it doesn't even make sense for a guy who is dressed like a cavalier, like a musketeer, essentially. It's kind of confusing. And maybe if that all just built up to something, but it didn't. He does get away at the end, which really feels like he's going to, actually show up again. But without like some focus on what he's truly up to or what he's doing, I don't see him really growing as a villain. It's not a particularly good story that sort of fails on the fact that it keeps trying to tell me that something grander is happening, and it doesn't. It probably would have worked better without all the asking questions to what the strange things he was doing. Okay, that is it from Detective Comics 81, The Cavalier of Crime. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Mondays and Thursdays I cover Superman or Superboy. And there are 2 series that are currently going on in the Golden Age. And please join me next time, same Bat Day, same comic book channel. Have a great day.